Weather with Matthew Phillips.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Matthew Phillips. I'm founder of Storm Safety News, and we have a lot to talk about tonight. Yeah, we have Tropical Cyclone 1 on our hands, and the official, Atlantic hurricane season started on June 1st. And we already have a tropical cyclone on our hands in the Gulf of America, and it's only June the 16th. Can you believe that? In other news, well, if you stepped outside today, you noticed that it was pretty rainy outside. Those rainy conditions, they're not going away anytime soon. Well, in particular, as we continue into the latter part of this week. But thankfully, if you're a fan of those 70s, they were in the forecast today, and that's a good 20 to 25 degrees below average, especially for South Alabama. Now, current conditions, we still have the 70s in the forecast, even as of the around the 9 p.m. Central Daylight Time hour. Across the board here, we can kind of go through here and see the temperatures. So lower to mid 70s right now, 73 degrees in the capital city of Montgomery, 73 degrees in Andalusia, 73 in Dothan, and then 70s across the southwestern parts of Alabama as well. And they really won't be budging too much lower than that tonight. Given the clouds in the atmosphere, the temperatures really aren't able to really cool off effectively as the clouds are stubborn and it acts as a blockage from the atmosphere infiltrating some of that cooler night air. But what they will do, especially over the coming days, is increase. Yeah, we have increased moisture. We'll have increased cloud coverage over the coming days, and that will be thanks to a tropical system. Yeah, if it turns into a tropical storm, the first name will be Arthur, and it could pack a punch, especially as it pertains to the rainfall over the coming days. So let's track that out. I'm using a global term model here, the GFS. Now there's two model runs, just in case you didn't know. There's the GFS and there's the European. In particular, we use these models to forecast systems that kind of go out beyond the short-term model data, such as 48 or 72-hour time frame clips. You know, HRRR is a really good model for short-term model data, but we use these to kind of go out and to broaden the horizon for that capability. Now, we'll start things off on Thursday morning. So we have tropical moisture, as I mentioned, Arthur, and it's in the southeastern coastline right now of Texas. But as we continue out throughout the next couple of days, that low pressure system will creep across the southern central parts of Louisiana and then Mississippi and into Alabama. And it'll have wraparound moisture that will continue to evolve, and it'll feel like the rain, well, it's never going away anytime soon. And that will especially be the case on your Thursday. It'll be persistent rainfall, and at that, it'll be pretty heavy at times as well, which could aid in a flash flood potential for your Thursday into your Friday. And that's why flash flood watches are in place right now over the whole state, essentially, of Alabama, thanks to a lot of rain being expected over the course of the next couple of days. So I'll stop this here at 108 just so I can kind of show you how much rain we are predicting. Now, this is just one model run, but I think it has a really good grip on what could happen with this system. So, of course, we have 3, 4, 5 inches of rain possible for Louisiana and the Mississippi, but it kind of gets draped over the area. It almost becomes what we would call a term such as stationary, where a boundary kind of gets caught up and the wind dynamics of the atmosphere, and it'll continue to really make rainfall ever so persistent over the area, and where we could see 6, 7, 8, locally higher amounts, 9 inches plus over a particular region over the coming days now through your Sunday. Now, the majority of this rain will fall Thursday into Friday. So flash flood watches could certainly turn into warnings. And so you really need to be careful if you are out on the roadway, especially if you live in a low-lying area, or if you know of roads that are low-lying, you want to be precautious and make sure you slow down a little bit and maybe leave early for your commute, just in case there is flooded roadways before you get out on the roadway. Now, the National Hurricane Center, they have The greatest flash flood risk areas highlighted in this red. That's a moderate, at least 40% chance, which is relatively high, speaking by the Weather Prediction Center here. And it encompasses Lake Charles in Louisiana, Jackson, Mississippi, as far north as Birmingham, Alabama, Montgomery, all in that moderate, at least 40% chance. But don't get caught up in these colors. Please do not get caught up in these colors. The risk is area wide across the southeast. We have a slight risk of flash flooding potential, across the southeast in general. Shreveport, Little Rock, Memphis, Atlanta, Chattanooga, all in this slight risk of potential flash floods. Now, you don't want to get mixed up between a flash flood and a regular flooding event. A flash flood is whenever you have an increased amount of rainfall over a particular time frame. So we're talking, waves of rain that will really be moderate to heavy at times, packing a punch of 2-3 inches an hour. And that's where the ground, well, it becomes already saturated, but it doesn't really recede because the atmosphere and the ground level can't handle it. And so that's where that water starts to slowly pile up. And that's what happens on the roadways for those flooded conditions. So please, if you live in a low-lying area, or if you know of roads that are in some low-lying areas, make sure that you are extra precautious before going out on the roadway. But that is not the only concern for Thursday. And I know I keep an eye on Thursday because it really is the main day that we will see the most impactful rainfall. But we also have the opportunity for even some strong to severe storms for your Thursday. Yeah, the Storm Prediction Center has a level 1 out of 5 risk level, including the whole state of Alabama. So, we could see scattered to severe thunderstorms across the area. And we must note that an isolated tornado could certainly be possible. So we definitely want to keep that in mind. The Storm Prediction Center has here, in quote, strong instability is forecast south of a sagging cold front. Through these regions will be removed from the stronger mid-level winds. Sufficient effective shear will be in place to promote potential for damaging downburst winds with stronger storms clusters that develop during the afternoon. So that severe thunderstorm risk will certainly be possible. And we'll have a lot of wind dynamics kind of playing out and the destabilization of the atmosphere that could aid in that tornado risk, but it is a very low risk at this time. And so that's kind of the latest here with the tropical development and how it'll kind of influence our weather over the coming days. Make sure that you are staying updated to your local forecast. No matter where you are, make sure you are tuning in to that local forecast. Maybe you have apps that you follow, or social media can also be a good platform, especially in today's era. Make sure that you are staying up to date with the latest trends, and I'll always have it here at Storm Safety News, where you can see the weather plus, get the latest updates regarding your weather and maybe your weather outside of the state of Alabama being possible through our hourly forecast, all on this site. So make sure you stay up to date on the latest. And this is Storm Safety News, and go ahead and search it up, stormsafetynews.net, for the latest. Again, I'm founder of Storm Safety News, Matthew Phillips.